Hey guys, Tomo with Wasteland Maniacs. After some playtesting with a friend, we stumbled upon a few things that need to be changed in order to make playing Wasteland Maniacs a more pleasant experience. The most obvious things were the way power works and the fact that there are currently no rulings on how to mulligan your hand before the game starts. Let's start with the changes to power. Currently, the power requirement of a gear or skill can only be sufficed by one unit, which then uses the gear or skill. However, this can really slow games down to the point of not being able to do anything. So instead, we now have a power pool of sorts. To check if the power requirement of a card is met, you add up all the power values of all units you control, and the number you then get is the power you have. So for example, if you have two little sword dudes on the playing field, until now you could only play cards with power 3 or lower. So if you have a, let's say, faceless mask in your hand, you couldn't play it since it needs 5 power. Now however, with this new power pool mechanic, you could play faceless masks since 3 plus 3 makes 6. This change is introduced to preserve the flow of games and to give decks that focus on multiple smaller units access to more cards. On that note, I want to mention one quick change to gear cards, because the one gear of every subtype rule no longer applies. It adds unnecessary speed bumps and is one more thing to keep track of, even though it's very easy to miss. So now you can stuff a unit full of masks, weaponry and the like without restraint. The other thing I briefly mentioned in the intro were mulligans. In case you don't know, some card games give you the option of performing a mulligan before the game starts. You simply replace your starting hand by shuffling it back into your deck and then drawing again. Sometimes there is a sort of penalty for this, take Magic the Gathering for example. Normally you draw 7 cards at the beginning of the game, but whenever you mulligan, that number goes down by 1 until you have only 1 card left. To compensate, you get to scry, which means to look at the top card of your deck and decide to keep it or put it on the bottom of your deck. But I found that such mechanics wouldn't really fit Wasteland Maniacs, so I came up with something I don't think a lot of other TCGs incorporate, at least on that level. And that is sort of like a class or character system. Before you actually start to build a deck, you will have to decide on an avatar to go with it. Avatars are cards that change the anatomy of a deck from the ground up. The cards themselves just reside beside your deck, or dice, or whatnot, and can be used as reference for all the parameters such as deck size, hand size, starting health and number of mulligans you can perform. In Wasteland Maniacs, to mull your hand, you just shuffle your hand into your pile and then draw that many cards again. Currently there are 2 avatars to choose from, the Protector and the Knife Juggler. The Protector is like the original avatar. He is the one that doesn't change the rules you all currently know. 24 health, 45 to 60 cards in your deck and a hand size of 6. You can mull your hand 3 times with this avatar, and that's about it. The second avatar, the Knife Juggler, is one that is more focused on speed and aggression. You have a smaller deck with only 39 to 50 cards and a hand size of 5. Technically, you don't draw as deep into your deck with the starting hand compared to the Protector, which is why you get 4 instead of 3 mulligans. When drawing cards, however, simply at the beginning of your turn, or because of cards like Knowledge Gain, you draw deeper into your deck. Because in this example, 2 over 39 is bigger than 2 over 45. And yes, I'm aware that these aren't the exact calculations, but it scales with later parts of the game, as you can see on screen. To compensate for this statistical advantage in terms of drawing the cards you need, your health is reduced to 19. So depending on what type of deck you want to build, you have several customization options. I'm personally a big fan of customizing everything in games, so I found this addition to really add to the personality and freedom of the game. Note that avatars don't change everything. Most importantly, the 3 off rule does not change, so regardless of avatar, you can still have 3 copies of any card in your deck, with the exception of standard energy sources. You can still have as many of these in your deck as you like. In other news, during playtesting we found that units with bleed damage are way too strong as they are now. So the bleed ability will be changed to only trigger on non-armor damage. What does this mean? Well, let me give you an example. Currently it goes like this. When a unit like Sickle Butcher deals damage to another unit during combat, the damaged unit will get the bleed status effect no matter what. This is too strong and doesn't really make sense if you think about it. So now the damaged unit has to have no armor of the respective type. So if Sickle Butcher attacks Scourge, then Scourge won't start to bleed, since Sickle Butcher deals thermal damage and Scourge has a bunch of thermal armor. A Panic-filled Tauros, however, would start to bleed immediately, since it only has electric armor and nothing to protect it from thermal damage. This change is to prevent bleed units from being eternally overpowered and to give other less obviously impactful keywords like dash a chance to shine. The last change to Wasteland Maniacs as of today is the addition of yet another rarity. We already have 5 rarities, but believe me, it's a necessary update. From now on, we will have token as a rarity. This is meant for cards that aren't really needed to play the game, so status effects and summon cards. Avatars get their own rarity, but will otherwise be treated as token cards and boosters once I get Wasteland Maniacs on the Game Crafter. You only need one, so common would be wrong, and if I make them legendary, they would be too hard to come by and replace strong and actually playable cards when found in a booster. And anything in between would just be weird. Overall, I'm quite happy with these changes. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, take care, and until next time.